0864. Stations your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
This is back out for a three. Left wing is good.
Deep to right field at the warning track. See ya.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
At the buzzer.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Huge win for Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
A good weekend for the Ducks on the diamond. We'll go through all of it. Oregon track and field in action as well. We've got women's tennis, the selection show here coming up in just a little while. The NFL draft is behind us. A lot of Ducks heading to the NFL. What else? God, there's so many things. Chelsea Hoffmann's going to join us, Oregon lacrosse head coach. Wednesday at 4:30, the Pac-12 tournament begins out in Arizona. We also have a lot of football interviews still to get to. We're going to be sprinkling those in over the course of the entire week and maybe even beyond. There's a lot for us to be talking about here today. So before we talk baseball, before we talk softball, before we talk with Chelsea Hoffmann here live coming up in just a little while, women's tennis selection show today. If you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, tune in today. The NCAA selection show can find out the Ducks' postseason fate under head coach Courtney Nagel. 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. It's streamed on NCAA.com. If you're listening on the podcast of this broadcast network, or if you're listening on one of our terrestrial affiliate stations later on, maybe you know the Ducks are already in, and maybe you know where they're going. But at 1 o'clock, I do not know, so here's to a great seating for the Ducks, and congratulations. It looks like they're going to be making it. The NFL draft and some undrafted free agent recap for you. Quarterback Anthony Brown Jr. signed with the Baltimore Ravens. Offensive lineman George Moore signed with the Green Bay Packers. Wide receiver Johnny Johnson III to the Houston Texans. Running back C.J. Verdell to the Indianapolis Colts. Verone McKinley III signed with the Miami Dolphins. And wide receiver Devin Williams signed also with the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe you'll see a Brown to Williams connection at some point. Of course, Kayvon Thibodeau, a top 5 draft pick to the New York Giants. Congratulations to all the Ducks who are beginning their NFL careers. That's pretty darn cool. Oregon baseball this weekend. All right, let's have a little bit of fun, shall we? Duck baseball was a roller coaster of emotions this weekend. Maybe let's start with the fact that Oregon is still ranked number 18 in the RPI heading into this week's games, tomorrow against Oregon State, then the weekend ahead at Oregon State. The Beavs are 15-6 in Pac-12 play. UCLA a game behind them at 14-7, and then Arizona and Oregon are both 2 games back at 13-8. That means that this non-conference game against the Beavs on Tuesday is going to count for, well, a lot in terms of RPI, but it won't matter for the conference standings. However, if the Ducks go to Corvallis and they win that series against the Beavs, they would be tied with Oregon State atop the Pac-12 standings. If the Ducks sweep the Beavers in Corvallis, tough thing to do. If the Ducks sweep the Beavers in Corvallis, then they would likely be in first place, depending on how UCLA does this upcoming weekend. So how did we get to that point and where we are now? Well, on Friday, Ducks got down by 2. They scored 7 unanswered runs to win their 15th come-from-behind game of the year. 15 come-from-behind wins, and they've won 28 games all year. Never count these guys out. More on that in a second. So the Ducks scored 7 unanswered runs on Friday, 5 of which were knocked in by Anthony Hall. 5. He had a double and a triple, his 5th three-bagger of the year. He's now climbing up that single-season record book for triples. Tyler Baumgartner, by the way, is the Oregon individual season leader in triples with 7. Anthony Hall may catch him. He may catch him. I am I don't know. I think he might do it. I really do. R.J. Gordon was excellent in 5 2/3, allowed 1 earned run, and Colby Summers his Pac-12 leading 8th save of the season on Friday night. So just a solid baseball game on Friday. It was a good one at PK Park. Then on Saturday, a 19-minute delay before the game got going, and a bunch of people were asking me how many games at PK Park have been rained out, and I was like, it never happened. It never happens. I mean, we had a sleet and hail delay where the field had to literally like thaw out a little bit before playing a game on an Easter Sunday, but yeah, I mean, this is what it is, you know? Like you never have rainouts at PK Park. Just a 19-minute delay, the rain, you know, it got better. It was fine. It was fine. 8-3 win though for the Ducks after a 5-run first inning. Tanner Smith went 4 for 5 in the game, and that wasn't even the most impressive thing that Tanner Smith did in Saturday's contest.
It's like an Anthony Hall home run there.
1-1 is in the air toward left center, converging, leaping at the wall. Tanner Smith took it away. Throw back to first base. Martorella gets back to the bag. What a play by Smith. Really a great catch. That should have been a home run. Dylan Beavers, the conference leader in home runs, was the hitter. Should have been 15, extending his conference lead. Instead, Tanner Smith reached up. You heard me say that him and Shade are converging. Tanner Smith postgame, he said, well, really a lot of credit goes to Colby Shade for helping him on that one because he was counting down where the wall was. That's what you do as an outfielder, right? You go, okay, 3, how many steps away are you? 3, 2, 1, leap and catch the ball. Great robbery from Tanner Smith. Great robbery from Tanner Smith. So he goes 4 for 5, and that's not even the play you're going to remember. There's not even a hit you're going to remember. That's the play that you're going to remember. So then Sunday, the Ducks have won the series. They're trying to sweep the series. I want to highlight a couple things defensively. Josh Kasevich made a great play on Sunday deep in the hole. So at the time, and this is kind of my thesis, if you will, on Sunday's game. At the time, Oregon, you didn't know how big these moments were going to be. There were so many different spots in this baseball game where it could have swung a pendulum in a different direction. So we're going to get to that inside the park home run coming up, but this great play from Josh Kasevich, it's one of the better plays I think that we've seen from Kasevich, and that's saying something. But at the time, it left 2 runners in scoring position. It saved at least a run, and it ended an inning where the Bears were threatening Oregon, thinking, uh-oh, it might get down here early. Josh Kasevich, so just listen to this. Watch this play. 3-1 on the ground. Backhand stop by Kasevich. Off-balance throw to first. What a play, Josh Kasevich! The shortstop throws a one-hopper to first. Walsh picks it out. And they get to Schinkel. What a play. I mean, it keeps 2 runners in scoring position. It strands 2 in a scoreless game. That proved to be a big deal. Runs were, well, very important in a 1-run ball game on a Sunday. But Josh Kasevich, he just keeps doing stuff like that. There's a highlight that we've played in our broadcast opens now a few times where I say something to the effect of it's another routine play from Josh Kasevich, but it's another routine great play from Josh Kasevich. This is what he does. All right, so then Gavin Grant comes up for the Ducks, and this is what got Oregon on the board on Sunday. The reason that I bring this up, the Ducks had a streak of 4 games without a home run. Just 4 games without a home run. That's the longest streak of the season for Oregon baseball. So that says something, right? That Oregon has been hitting a lot of long balls, but lately haven't hit quite as many. But 4 straight games without a long ball, the longest run of the season without a home run. Gavin Grant changed that. Another 3-2. Grant unloads on one into left field, back toward the wall. Gone! 3-2 pitch, mashed out of here to left. 3-run blast for Gavin Grant.
Talk about doing it in a big spot. Joey, it's hard to come up with a truly clutch hit in the second inning, but I think that qualifies.
I agree, Jordan Brenner, because that gave the Ducks the lead, and I think that on a 3-2 pitch he had fouled a few off, and Jordan later on the broadcast said that he went down and got it with his driver. It was almost like Gavin Grant was golfing on that one. So it felt like that was a big moment, and I thought getting the long ball going again, Josh Kasevich hit one later in the game, that was a good sign for the Ducks on Sunday. But here was the play of the day, at least from an Oregon perspective. And that's what we all care about. We know that. Another robbery. Back-to-back games with a robbed home run by the Ducks. Okay, so I asked Mark Wasikowski this pregame. I said, hey, Coach, I mean, Tanner Smith makes a tremendous play. Just that's a big deal. And Waz says, well, Oregon State had a player rob a ball on Tuesday. Took a home run away from Jack Scanlon. And he said that he actually challenged the team. He said, hey, opposing teams are coming into this ballpark and they're playing your fence better than you. How do you feel about that? Well, Tanner Smith ended up robbing a home run. And then Colby Shade, this was the number 2 play on SportsCenter. And I think he deserved it. The wire. 0-2, hit in the air to center. Well struck. Shade on his horse. Shade at the wall. He got it. Back-to-back games with a robbery in the outfield by the Ducks. Colby Shade. We've been saying all year it's hot in the shade. That's just easy for us to say, but I mean, Colby Shade, that was full sprint on his horse. And I had just asked Mark Wasikowski earlier this weekend, like, how much ground does that guy cover? We talked with Colby Shade last week about how much pride he takes in his defense. And, I mean, that's the play of the year, I think, in a lot of ways, defensively. That should have been a 3-run home run to tie the game. Instead, Colby Shade snags it. Now, on both of these home run robberies, what's the first thing that the outfielder does with, for Smith, a runner on first, for Shade, runners at the corners? They immediately throw it back into the infield. In fact, it's almost a double play to get Martorella in that first one from Tanner Smith. And then Colby Shade, it ended up going actually as a sacrifice fly. I have never been more excited about a sacrifice fly for the other team in my entire broadcasting career. It goes as a sac fly because the runner from third scored on Shade's robbery. So I know everybody is going to want to know, well, which one was better? I think that Tanner Smith's was in a big spot. I think that Colby Shade's was in a big spot. At least it proved to be a big spot. SportsCenter said that Colby Shade's was better. I thought Colby Shade, just that dead sprint to get that ball, I don't know. But the fact that you have 2 robberies in back-to-back games for the Ducks, pretty great. So I wish that that's where everything ended. Unfortunately, Cal fought back. An inside-the-park home run that fueled a 5-run eighth to give Cal an 8-5 advantage. It was a ball with the bases loaded, just hit down the line. Anthony Hall was playing shaded into right center. He had to run a mile to try to catch it. Couldn't glove it. Credit to Hant Smith. He had 7 RBIs in the game, 4 of them because he was hustling out of the box and he was able to score, and the runners were moving with 2 outs. It happens. It's baseball. Ronald asking, is Anthony Hall going to be okay? Because Anthony Hall, on that play, he got tripped up, went down hard, and then he left the ball game. I don't know, actually. Mark Wasikowski, I think, was asked post-game. That interview coming up. But I don't have an update here on a Monday for Anthony Hall. We'll find out, I'm sure, when we talk to Waz for the Toyota Coaches Corner tomorrow. But it was one of those games where after Cal fought back, they added another run in the 9th. And then the Ducks make it interesting, as they do. You can never count these guys out in the bottom of the 9th. They're down by 4 runs. Ducks fought back to make it 9-8. Ultimately, they had the tying run at third, the winning run at second, and they lost the game. But what a dramatic game for the Ducks. It's hard to get a series sweep. It's really hard in the Pac-12 to get a series sweep. Ducks won the series. They felt like they could have, maybe should have gotten the sweep. But over the course of that entire game, we're all going to remember an inside-the-park home run that was kind of a Little League inside-the-park home run, right, where player goes down after he doesn't make the catch, ball rattles around, runners were going because there were 2 outs. It happens. It's baseball. But here's my point here. It's not just that play. It's going to be the fact that Josh Kasevich stranded a couple runners earlier in the game. It's going to be the fact that there should have been a 3-run home run that Colby Shade took away. Some great defense in that game. It's going to be the fact that Keyshawn Ogans, the shortstop for Cal, made a couple great plays that took away runs for the Ducks potentially. That's the way that the games go. But I thought this was an example of why in the second inning, and Jordan said it on the broadcast, in the second inning, you can't really have a clutch hit. I think you can. I think you can have a clutch hit because if Gavin Grant doesn't hit that 3-run home run in the second inning, we're not even talking about a dramatic finish to the game. In fact, maybe it's just, Cal ran away with it and they won 9-5. Who knows how things go? There's 27 outs in a baseball game. Every one of them is just as important as the next. We all remember the clutch play. We all remember the big play that happens. Sure, maybe one pitch is better than another, but this game was the example of every run freaking matters. That's what I took away from this matchup anyway. We went through the RPI and the standings. Ducks are still within striking distance of first place, 2 games back, and they're still a top 20 team in the RPI. When we come back, let's hear from Mark Wasikowski, shall we? Also, the debate of the weekend. We're going to talk about sauce on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
These are the sounds of a dinner that almost didn't happen. A dinner now served, thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. So the Ducks go 2-1 against Cal. They win the series. It felt like they had one get away from them on Sunday. And Mark Wasikowski, well, you know that on Sunday he's going to be thinking about that one. And he talked with the media post-game.
About 7 innings, and you guys were playing sparkling defense. You guys had the lead. What's your perspective on kind of how things turned in the 8th there?
Need to coach better.
Yeah. Disappointing one?
Oh, to say the least. I mean, need to coach better.
What specifically do you feel like you need to do better in the future?
Well, at the end of the day, we lost the game, and that's on the coach.
Mm-hmm. Coach, just run me through your decision to bring Colby Summers in the 8th rather than maybe leaving Schifatelli out for another inning.
Colby was fresh. He was ready to go, and he wanted the baseball. And every time we got a lead in the 8th inning, when he's got 6 outs in him, for sure, and he did. He said he had 3 innings actually in him, and so that was clearly the right decision to give Colby the baseball with the lead, going in the 8th inning.
Can you talk about the decision to take Stoffel out after 3 innings, hadn't given up an earned run? Obviously, the defense had helped him out a bunch at that point.
Jace wasn't sharp today.
Okay. How's Hall doing? And it's a hell of an effort on that fly ball, and just any perspective on that play there?
No, nothing additional to add. Hopefully he's okay.
What did you see from Logan Mikado again? He comes out of the pen and does another good job of kind of shutting down some innings here.
Yeah, I thought he did a nice job. You know, he came out there and he threw the ball over the plate and he was competitive. Our team was very competitive today, you know, all the way down to the very last out. And, but yet it's still disappointing. And, you know, when you lose a baseball game, you reflect in the mirror. And as a coach, you know that you own that. And you know, players play and coaches coach. When you lose, it's coach's fault. We need to get better.
Potentially a lot on the line for you guys over these next 8 days. What's the mentality you guys need to take over these next, say, 48 hours to get ready for Tuesday's game and kind of get this week started off the right way?
Yeah, I mean, you know, this team's been playing great baseball all year. I mean, the mentality, it doesn't need to change. The mentality needs to be as competitive as what we saw all the way to the end. We get a chance to play 4 games against the guys in our state, which is great. We can't wait to do that. And so it's going to be one of the, maybe up to this point, the most fun week we could possibly have. That's how we view it. And then afterwards, obviously, there's more weeks in front of us that we need to play well. But we get a chance to play this week, and that's awesome. We can't wait.
With a game like today's, sometimes this kind of happens in football, and it's a throwaway game. You don't reveal the film. Is that something that you guys might do, or is this one you want to look back on and remember?
A throwaway game? We don't have throwaway games at the University of Oregon. A throwaway the tape game? No, there were great things that happened in that game today. No, we don't throw away tape, and we don't play that way around here. We don't bash our players or you know, tell them that's a throwaway game. I mean, there was a lot of great stuff that happened today. There was a lot of good things that we can learn from that we didn't do great today. But at the end of the day, it was a loss. There's no throwaway games, though. That's not the way we roll. We're trying to win a league championships, and it's disappointing when we lose. And we lost today, and so we're disappointed. But we're going to be ready to play on Tuesday. There's no doubt about it. And we're looking forward to getting back on the ball field tomorrow. We can't wait to get another work day. And these guys are awesome to be with every single day, and so it doesn't ever change.
I'll try one more time. What do you want to learn from this one? What do you want the guys' big learning key point to be from this one?
It's better to win than lose.
Yeah. Kind of let the sting sit with you a little bit then.
No, winners get rewarded differently, you know, than losers, and it's that black and white in the world. And when somebody wants to pat you on the back and tell you it's okay, well, that's the first thing that you're going to hear from a loser. It's not okay, and it's better to win than lose. And you'll get better jobs, and you'll get better things that happen to you when you win over when you lose. And so we try to teach our players to win at all costs. And our guys, they love that. They value that. They embrace that. And I love suiting up for these guys, or with these guys, because they have a high appreciation for that as well. And that's going to be the message we continue to try to teach around here, because winning is better than losing, no doubt.
You could see it. Just a competitive Mark Wasikowski. And, you know, look, that's how he and this entire team are. That's how they are. I mean, they are competitive right down to that very last out. And that exact mentality is how you end up getting a chance in the bottom of the 9th inning to come back and win a game. It's a big game against Oregon State coming up, and Ducks back at practice, ready to roll. When we come back, we're going to talk a little softball. Still got some sauce to talk about, too, on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece, and it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat, or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial Studio. Oregon softball, a great series sweep this weekend against Oregon State. On Friday, Valerie Wong homered twice, and Stevie Hansen pitched 5 shutout innings as the Ducks opened that rivalry series with a 5-0 win over Oregon State. And I'll tell you, it was played with some weather, right? There's no doubt about that. And the game was actually halted in the 5th inning, and that was it. That was all she wrote. So the Ducks and the Beavs, they finished it up after 5. On Saturday, mechanically Thermos struck out 11 Oregon State batters. Ariel Carlson scored the winning run on a throwing error in the bottom of the 7th. Number 22 Ducks beat the Beavs 4-3 Saturday, and that was fun in front of nearly 2,000 fans at Jane Sanders Stadium. I selfishly was just stoked that it was a 6 o'clock first pitch after a 2 o'clock baseball game for obvious reasons. And on Sunday, the regular season finale at Jane Sanders Stadium, it was a memorable one for the 3 seniors. Softball team finished off the series sweep of Oregon State with a 4-2 win on Sunday before 2,102 fans at the Jane. I love it. Awesome to honor Jazz Williams, Jordan Dale, Hannah Gailey. And the Ducks are, I think, still a top 25 team. You look at all the metrics, and they get a series sweep, and I feel like they're happy with what they did. I would be happy with what they did. I am happy with what they did. And a cool way to celebrate the seniors. 4th best average attendance in the nation this year. Shout out to you, fans. Thanks for making it a home field advantage. Melissa Lombardi was pretty stoked post-game, I'd say.
I was saying, particularly for McKenna, but Stevie too, like seeing some results to back up kind of the confidence you guys have been expressing all season, can be a big boost. Just how important can this be for both of them, but maybe McKenna in particular, as you go into the next weekend and then the postseason?
I think it's really big. I think we, as a team, have talked a lot about peaking at the right time. And I think as a team, I think as a pitching staff, we're peaking at the right time.
In the 4th inning in particular, just because of the sequencing of it, where, all right, you get an error helps you a little bit, but it goes to that point of putting the ball in play. Paige is able to do that. Tay comes in, draws a walk. And
the ball down the line.
Yeah,
sorry.
And gets that, and Tay follows by drawing a walk on a full count, battling in that count, and that opens the door for you to put in Gabby and the hit. And it's easy to preach the message, and if it doesn't necessarily get the results, or the results aren't there all the time, whether or not it resonates. But in games like this, does it not resonate when those sort of things all happen in sequence the way they do there?
Yeah, just, you could be in a tough jam in an inning, and then you put a couple things together, and next thing you know, you're on top, So seeing Paige hit that ball hard, we were going, which was great, which allowed, if we're not going on that, we might get doubled off there. Maybe not with Paige running, but it just happened so quick, we could have possibly get doubled up. And just being able to be safe all the way around, and then drawing the walk, and then Gabby just coming up big. She's been waiting. She's just been waiting. That's what's pretty cool is our athletes, you'll have some in and then some that are kind of waiting, and when they're waiting and they get an opportunity to get their turn, they take advantage of it.
How is Delgado after the hit on the hip there?
She's going to be okay. It got her a little bit, but she's going to be okay. She's tough.
Gabby said being tasked with helping with signs and things like that just helps her even more to stay engaged. Is that something you assign tasks like strategically for a player, like hey, I really want you focused?
There's some things that we assign, but then there's other things. It's interesting to see what they'll kind of pick up to do just that on their own. And so Gabby started doing that. She started being to my left, I want to say in Palm Springs, and has not left my side since. And I depend on her, but she's the one that came to me. So I like that. Like Taya's all over something, and Jordan's right in the middle of, we all do number signs and trying to pick things. And so I think it allows them to stay in the game for sure if they're not out on the field, but to just continue to help us find ways. You're not going to only win if you're out on the field. We're going to win in other ways with the things that we do in the dugout.
Speaking, you mentioned Taya just really quickly, but her going in, she hasn't been playing frequently, but goes in and had, the 2 walks, but seeing a pitcher who's really good, getting those full counts, getting those walks, and then the single, she had a pretty good game.
For sure. Taya's doing things right. I think Taya's in a really good place right now. To face a pitcher like Maison, who is really, really good, and to have a really good eye at the plate, like Taya, I was very impressed with Ariel this weekend. I thought she had a really good eye at the plate as well. That means that you're seeing pitches really well, you're understanding what you want. To be a tough out like that and to spoil, 2 strike counts and to be able to draw a walk, again, momentum, you pass the bat to the next.
What are your emotions like during that ceremony?
Tough. We're coaches and obviously we want them to win out on the field, but for me and for our other coaches, I want them to win in life. That's what's the most important thing. And so you're in with them day in and day out, and you celebrate their victories, and you cry with them, or you see their struggles, and you just want them to figure it out. So to watch these guys come in as young girls and to transform into young independent women, that's what our job is here. That's what we're here to do. And then play a little bit of softball. But to me, it's the personal side. That's why we coach.
With that, how indebted are you to Jordan?
I think about Jordan, and I think about December when the transfer portal was going on and everybody was leaving, and she was the one coming in. She was our first one to come in, and she's like, I want to be a Duck. And I love that. I love that she, as others were exiting, she was like, I'm ready. I want to be a Duck. And the competitor that she is, I don't think you can teach people to compete. I think that's something that's really deep within them, and she's been a competitor since day one. And I'm proud of her. I've just watched her grow over the years, and she's had some adversity, and I think anybody else would have quit or maybe left or did something different to just try to get a fresh start, and she didn't. She's just stuck with it through the good and the bad. But I feel like that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to stick with it, and that's what's going to allow her to come out on top.
In a big picture sense, how important was this weekend getting 3 wins, getting a sweep, maybe even in a micro sense too, just for your immediate psyche, just to be able to get this weekend and move forward?
This weekend was huge for us. It was big to get that sweep. We see the standings in the pack right now and what it looks like. That's going to allow us to move up. And that's great. That's what we need to do. We have the last bye of the year. Everybody else, there's some where we're 3 games ahead of others. So it looks rougher, but knowing that we've got 1 weekend left with 3 games with Stanford and what we did here, I think it puts us in a great spot going into our final weekend.
With that, how different is it in a week where a week ago it's last place and now you're still alive for 4th?
Yeah.
Over 3 games is the difference.
And that is the pack. That is the grind. That when you're right in the middle of it, everybody's like, oh, the sky's falling. But then if you can be in the middle of the grind but still be able to see the big picture, that's what it takes, I think, to compete in the pack. So.
Do you think they were seeing the big picture this past week?
Yeah. Is it tough with these past couple weeks? Yes. But to me, if they didn't see the big picture, I don't think we come here and sweep. I think they lay over and go, okay, we're done. So they're not. These guys, I've been calling them prize fighters since day one, since my first year here. And they know how to take some hits and get back up and then, give some hits back. So I think we're in a really good place as a team right now. I think we're peaking and getting where we need to be. I think Stevie's showing what she can do as a freshman, and then now you're really getting to see what McKenna can do. And, we're starting to see, like this weekend, we got to see all 3 cylinders firing.
How easy is it to go into the locker room as you continue to teach? You talked about the struggles, basically summarizing everything. So talk about the struggles, but all of that is kind of validated. You guys came out and had all 3 cylinders firing, and the performance was there.
Yeah, it's the belief. When things are going great, it's easy to believe, but when things aren't going well, that's when you have to believe and trust in the people around you. People that you're playing with, the people that are coaching you, our staff. You got to trust and believe that what we're doing and how we're going about it is right, and that we'll get through it. I think there's going to be some highs in the pack. There's going to be lows. So it's just fighting through it.
What can you say about what McKenna was able to do this weekend? She had a real gritty 11 strikeout performance last night. Kind of came in and cleaned things up today. A couple tough innings in there that she was able to get out of. What can you say about what she was able to do, especially after she had some struggles these last couple months?
I think McKenna's had good stuff since the day that she came to Oregon. And I think for her, she needed these experiences, these tough experiences that have gone for her and also have gone against her, for her to become the pitcher that she's capable of becoming. So to be on the mound and have runners in scoring position, you have their two best hitters up at the plate. That's big time. That's big time. Humude is an unbelievable hitter, and what she's done this year, and to for both of them, to do some good things against her. Maison, she's a great hitter. She's a great pitcher. So for them to be in tough jams and find their way out of it, that goes a long way for us.
Two housekeeping things, Missy. One is with Jazz being honored today, is that the formality is that is it. She is absolutely not going to be returning next season, or is that still an open door?
With that, this is her senior year and we're celebrating it, and as we get, if something is different, then we'll go at that time. But I mean, today it's about celebrating her, about celebrating Hannah, and celebrating Jordan.
And lastly, no chance at games in 2 weeks? That effort is over, or are you still holding out anymore?
If somebody wants to play us, we'd love to play them. If you could you schedule a couple games first?
Yeah, I could call them, yeah.
We'd love to play them. If not, then we're gonna play our, we're gonna put our uniforms on and scrimmage, get after it against ourselves. So.
Just out of curiosity, not that it weighs in from it, did you see or hear about the UCLA score?
No.
8-0 Utah.
Oh.
Beat them in 5. So just to the conference as a whole, the ups and downs, topsy-turvy grind that it is.
No, for sure. That is the pack. And that's why if you want to play in the pack, you better be gritty, and you better have some thick skin, and you better get over yourself when you do good and when you do bad, because it's tough. But that's why I came here. That's why our athletes come here, because we want to play in the best conference out there, and to be the best, we've got to beat the best. So it doesn't surprise me. Utah's a very good team, really good team. So
just to be clear, you would rather have games during that 1 week, that in-between week?
Yeah, do you know somebody?
It's very difficult.
Yeah. I'm just making sure that you didn't think maybe there was some benefit to resting a week or anything like that.
I would like to play. I'd like to play. So if you all know somebody, I will take it. But yeah, if not, then we'll go into the weekend and almost kind of treat it like a home weekend and play against ourselves.
I thought that was really interesting, that she said that, because she and I have talked before, Coach Lombardi, about how they want to try to get games, but they just weren't able to. So it's been tough. When we come back, Chelsea Hoffmann's going to join us, head coach, Oregon lacrosse. Pac-12 tournament starts on Wednesday, next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s, like go back to college, learn to skateboard. Whoa. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. At aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a free 3-minute chat with the friendly digital retirement coach, Avo, and receive personalized tips to help boost your savings. Start chatting with Avo today at aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. It's been a while since we've talked with Coach Hoffmann. Chelsea, how are you? Things good?
Good to see you. Yeah.
Hey, it is officially postseason, which means that we're going to talk about the season that was. We're going to talk about the season that's upcoming. Just catch fans up. How things been going? What's the latest right down the hall in the lacrosse offices?
Yeah, right down the hall. We just we finished our postseason at Colorado and had a really good week, I think, just to reset, but also a really great week to get back and doing like what we need to be focusing on as a team. And now getting ready to go to Arizona State and for the first time in several years for our team to compete in the Pac-12 tournament. So it's been fun to kind of talk to them about what it means and what really the opportunity is like.
How big of a deal is that? I mean, just it's a chance to have postseason again. It feels a little more normal for your athletes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess really only a couple seniors have been in postseason. The last time we've been as a team was when we hosted here in Eugene. Wow. And, our roster's changed a lot. We have a lot of underclassmen. So it's been fun to just talk about, what the opportunity is. We're one conference of a couple that actually allow every team to go to the conference championship, which is really just super special to the student-athlete experience. But then on top of that, you get to play another team a third time. Yeah. And you get to have that challenge of, let's go at it one more time. We know a lot about the team, so giving us another chance to just compete, which is kind of what we've been talking about, is we're grateful to have the opportunity and really just the opportunity to compete in May. I actually was reflecting on when we finished a couple seasons ago, we were practicing in May with just talking about this is what it takes to be, in the conversation at the national level, to be in the conversation in a Pac-12 tournament. We have to be ready to practice in May, that it's a long season. And this is the first time we'll be playing in May since I've been here. So exciting to just start to kind of get that experience and know that we have the opportunity.
Wednesday, 4:30, Pac-12 Network starts against Colorado. We were just talking during the break that you guys just played Colorado. So, I don't know, pro, con, does it matter? I don't know. I think you're always expecting –
I've been in the conference long enough. You're always expecting to play somebody 3 times. I'm sure our athletes would be like, we'd rather play this team than this team. But at the end of the day, the best part is that the team. You know a lot about kind of what to expect. And now the challenge is on, can we replicate, what we do in practice? Can we stick to the game plan and really execute? And I think our team after, our last game being at Colorado was just let's play them again. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the result we wanted. We didn't have the strength that we wanted to have as we did against them the first time. So now it's more all right, let's go at it a third time and in a neutral venue. I think that's the thing we've talked about, is it's a neutral space. We're not home, we're not away. We're all at the same place.
Does it make a difference, the neutral home road? how do you go about that as a coaching staff? Does it make a huge difference?
I think our athletes take a lot of pride when we're here on Pape. I think when you look around and see the massive scoreboard at Autzen, you hear PK Park, there's just a different air to being able to represent your university on your home turf. But we've just talked about it. The best thing is that we've gone to all of these places. We're not going to somewhere we've never been. We know Arizona State. We were there earlier in March. So now it's just really about preparing for the climate and preparing for some of the unforeseen things that we can't control, being that we've been here in Eugene for some time.
I want to ask you about a few of your individuals and kind of go through the season, talking lacrosse with Chelsea Hoffmann, head coach. I'm always fascinated for a head coach's perspective on a season like ebb and flow, kind of like a roller coaster. I mean, just take fans through the roller coaster if you could in like a minute or two of what the season was like, your highs, your lows heading into postseason, and how you draw on some of that heading into a new season, kind of.
Yeah, a lot of highs and lows. I think that's a season that's just now it feels like the norm. We definitely have talked a lot about not getting comfortable and continuing to get 1% better every day. I think, from even thinking about where we were in February, the team that we looked like in February is nowhere the team that we are right now. We have grown in every single game because we are younger with our athletes, from COVID, but also specifically from just having freshmen, sophomores on the field. That's what we've talked about is like growing every game and growing as a team every game. I think we've grown in games as individuals and had some really standout games, but unfortunately without, everyone firing on all cylinders didn't help us kind of close the door on a couple games. But I think really towards the last half of the season, with games against like Arizona State, USC, our early game in Colorado, like we were really competing at the level that we know we have the ability to play at. But it really took the team mentality, and that's really what we've been focusing on. So I think the excitement is like being able to kind of close the door on the regular season and thinking like, what do we need to focus on for us as Oregon on the offensive side, on the defensive side, to like build that momentum. I think that's been a big factor of just getting out to practice and going hard and attacking each other. Because, without a game this past week, we have to make the game ourselves. And every day we've tried to say like, this is game day. Let's just prepare like it's game day. Because we've had, 5 or 6 days without a game that might feel a little bit different for them, but gave us a little bit of time, I think, to even get healthier, which has been really nice to just kind of know we have everybody available to play this week.
That's the obvious question, right? Is you're at the end of a season, you do have a little bit of extra time, so you feel like you're full strength. It sounds like maybe this is the strongest the team's been all season long.
Yeah, I'd say we've got we've got age on some of our athletes where they're just not moving the same after a Friday Sunday weekend. We did get hit with the flu a little bit earlier in the season, so that was rough, and we had a lot of people just wearing masks to kind of keep everybody safe. But right now, I think we're in a great place with where we're at from a health standpoint, and just trying to stay fresh, but also really just enjoy the moment. We keep talking about we could have 5 practices left, we could have 4 practices left, we could have seniors that never compete in another organized sport again. So really just trying to just take it in, be grateful for the opportunity, and really enjoy the presence of our team, because this group has grown a lot on the field, but we've grown a lot off the field, and really just come together and realize that we are all each other's closest friends here, and that's just kind of how we have to kind of continue to build those relationships.
It puts it in perspective when you start to say like this is going to be the last time some of your athletes play an organized sport. Like that hits you a little bit as a coach, as an athlete. That is a cool opportunity for everybody.
Yeah, it is. And I think you forget it. And we talked as a coaching staff. We did we called it a glow, a gratitude, and a grow. What's your glow, a highlight that you've had, something you're grateful for, and then something you want to keep growing in. And it made us talk about when the season ends, we always as coaches move on to the next recruiting phase. We always have different phases, but for right now, we don't want it to end. We want to be back out at Pape and make sure that we can all spend time together.
I wanted to ask you about a couple individuals as we head into postseason. Hannah Hilkoff has put together, I think, what a lot of people would say is one of the better seasons we've seen in recent Oregon lacrosse history. But get this, everybody, in only 35 games, she's maybe going to be the fastest in Oregon history to 100 goals scored. What's been the key for her? What's her development been like now in her junior season?
Yeah, I mean, her development has just been that she's tenacious. She works so hard at practice every single day. What she's really done is she's just someone that really is super physical and uses her size really well. She's kind of getting to the point now, she's super scoutable that everyone's sending a second and third slide. So what has really been the key is that now she has learned that she is going to have to be that person that draws the slide and moves the ball, but then give herself an option to get the ball back. I think her teammates have really set her up. We call them spatial assists of, you're just moving through the space to create those lanes so that she can be a force when she does have the ball. So a lot of it's come down to just becoming more aware of what the threat is, but then also how her teammates can work off of her. But yeah, she works her tail off. She's out there every day just trying to put in the extra work and make sure she's really crisp on her shooting, but also crisp on her dodging. And the fun thing is she's not just always a dodger. She's also someone that works really well on the inside. So she's become a lot more versatile in the last couple seasons. But that's a really big testament also to her teammates that are feeding her the ball and know that she's going to be a good threat on the inside as much as she'd be on the outside.
So if we see 2 goals from the Hilkoff name, right, then you know that it's the fastest to 100 ever. By the way, Shannon Williams was the fastest to ever do it in 40 games. This will be number 35, or number 36, I should say, for Hannah Hilkoff. I want to ask you, too, about a sophomore midfielder in Morgan McCarthy. Currently 7th in the Pac-12, 59 draw controls, 40 more than she had as a freshman. So that's a jump, right? So what's the development like?
Morgan was not settled that she really wanted to change the way she read and reacted to ground balls. So she was just disappointed in the way she kind of set herself up last season and knew that she could really handle it. And she just gets out and gets the work done and has learned to use her body more, use her stick, learn how to really react to the ball. But I think what's the kind of always the key behind the draw control is like who's taking the draw and being able to put the draw in different spots. So I think Gabby Cleveland having the ability to put the draw to where Morgan can run onto it, but then also having Hannah Hilkoff control it as well. There's always like someone behind the scenes that's kind of making someone else's stats look really great. So while Morgan has really worked on the small nuances of how she's playing the ball on the ground or in the air, her teammates do a great job putting it to space and really trust her to kind of maneuver her and put her in different positions. I think the newest challenge is that she's having 2 people now on her when she's trying to take that opportunity to get the ball for us. So trying to continue to have that challenge. We've had some men's practice players out there pushing her around to make sure she knows, like, no matter the physicality, she's going to be the first one to the ball. So it's been really cool to see her really build off of, this freshman career that she did have, and be like never be satisfied. I think she knew that she had an area that she could really get better at, and has done that for us this season.
I feel like every time I talk with you and I ask you about an individual, you're always so good, and this is truly a compliment. You're always so good at talking about the individual, but then it's also about the team. And where's that philosophy come from for you? And just, I guess, how impactful is that as you coach your athletes to say, hey, yes, we have great individuals, but this is a team sport. I think it's really interesting the way that you go about talking about your athletes.
Well, thanks. I mean, I think it's always about the we and never about the me. I think the biggest thing is knowing like who sets you up, who makes you look better. In teams, we're such a team sport from end to end through our transition. Like everything we do, we really have started to stress and understand like what we do on the defensive end to make a stop and get a save is going to give us a positive possession to take advantage of offensively. So the biggest thing is knowing, yes, who the strengths are in our team, but who makes those strengths look stronger. Because the thing I always have a tough time of is like you see the stats and you know who are your people, but who's orchestrating it behind the scenes. And I think there's a lot of unsung heroes in our team of like who even help just organize the offense, who help kind of communicate on the defense. So we're knowing who's the slide, what needs to be, and those people don't get those stats recognition, but they do so much of like the work that it needs to be recognized. Because at the end of the day, we're only going to win and lose on those people, the people that can orchestrate, but also the people that can execute.
As I say this, I do have one more individual that I want to ask you about. One of your seniors in Sydney Lawrence, 4th in the Pac-12 in caused turnovers. That's one of your seniors. I feel like that's probably in a leadership role for this squad.
Yeah, so Sydney, this is actually her second full season with our program because of COVID and opt-out the previous season. And she's just really come into her own in what we knew she could do. She actually started out as a freshman midfielder, and we shifted her to the defense. And what she's done really well is she's just continuously working on her footwork. Even yesterday we were doing 1v1s, and she wasn't satisfied. She immediately wanted to go up against Hannah Hilkoff, our top attacker, and say, go at me, go at me, go at me. So Sydney's been a markup defender for us. She's typically on one of the top threats of an opponent. And she really has just been someone that we know can lock down somebody, but also is a really good team defender that can help in the sliding package and help and be a quick, aggressive mentality to get that ground ball. So it's just fun to see her playing again and being able to like be in the unit. And she's really gained a lot of respect from her teammates because of the ability that she has to be consistent consistent and to show up every day just willing to compete.
Chelsea Hoffmann, great conversation with the Oregon women's lacrosse head coach. The Ducks, 4:30 on Wednesday against Colorado. It's on Pac-12 Network to start the Pac-12 tournament. My thanks to Chelsea Hoffmann for joining us. And when we come back, we're going to wrap things up. A little track and field news for you and maybe some sauces, though I don't know if we want to talk about that. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece, and it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill to finish things off today. Oregon baseball series win over Cal. Oregon softball, a series sweep of the Beavers. Both those teams in action in Pac-12 conference play later on this week. Kevin Nelson and Makai Williams each collected 3 wins Saturday evening in Tucson, coupled with a first-place showing by Mia Morechik at the OSU High Performance in Corvallis. Oregon track and field team closed out the month with 7 wins on the day. That's what you like to hear for Oregon track and field. Pretty darn cool what they have, every year what they put together. I was about to say this year, but really it's every year for Oregon track and field. Cafe Yum 2-minute drill, Cafe Yum restaurants throughout Oregon and Washington. Menus always at cafeyum.com. So the poll from the weekend. I asked everybody, we were talking about our sauce debate. You're getting a basket with 4 chicken tender strips about the size of your hand and fries at PK Park. You can grab barbecue, ranch, ketchup for dipping. The question: how many sauces in total do you want? Well, 42% of you say 1 to 2. 35% of you say 3. 22% of you say 4 or more. And there was 1% that said 0. That one I don't understand. Let's leave it with that today. See you tomorrow.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink. What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum. That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest, cleaning up the air we breathe. I didn't know the trees were so amazing. Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb. That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad.